everybody. Welcome to another episode of What a Hell of a Way to Dad. It's Francis, and this week I have Greg from the Brighan Young Money podcast joining me today. Nate is taking care of some other stuff, so I'm reaching out. I'm finding my fellow dads. Brighan Young is always a good one to grab from because it has a dad and a veteran, but like split, so I can always grab one or the other, or both of you. How you doing, Greg?
I'm doing well. That's always my favorite thing, is that I get to tell people that I co-own a veteran-owned business.
That's right. You get to park in the special parking spots at Lowe's.
I get a Steel Valor every Memorial Day. I get that pancake breakfast from IHOP. Sometimes every now and again, I wear the medals. It's a good time.
Yeah, you gotta walk around like a North Korean general. That's perfect.
Exactly.
That's how I have always. I think one of the care packages I sent out was I bought a whole bunch of the Global War on Terror ribbons and sent them to everybody who was on the $10 level on the Patreon, because my figuring was, we all fought terrorism for that 20 years, right? So everybody deserves one. And I ended up getting like a phone call from the company that I was ordering it from, because I was ordering like 150 of these, and they're like, "You're not a military base. What's going on here?" And having to make, I didn't even explain it. I was like, "No, I know what I ordered. Send it. I gave you the money. Send it. If you've got 150 of them, send them."
That's very funny. I like that.
Yeah. So, Greg, you've got a 9-10-year-old boy, right?
He's 7.
7.
Yeah.
Okay.
First grade. We are in the throes. I signed up for, he's playing machine pitch, which is, it's basically just Little League, but we don't pitch. We have a machine that pitches to them.
Oh, that's
so I'm
cool.
doing that like 3 days a week. It's a commitment, but yeah, I'm having a good time, and he's a good kid.
Yeah. The machine pitch is pretty, like when I was that age, I think it was just like the coaches pitched.
Yeah.
Like your own coach would pitch.
Yeah. We called it coach pitch, and now it's machine pitch. These kids, man.
One more thing being taken away from people to do their jobs, going to a machine.
Like, honestly, I kind of respect and kind of enjoy, because if I had to pitch batting practice, we have 2 games a week and practice once a week, I would not have an arm anymore. It would just fall off.
That's true. You can't expect like your average Little League dad to be able to throw 100 balls every week
every other day. Yeah. I'm going to eventually have to just do the Jim Abbott thing and just throw and catch with the same arm.
Yeah. Just kind of do an underhand toss, just kind of lob it in there.
Right.
We had recently, so we homeschool, but my daughter does go to various like classes and stuff, and she does Irish dance. And we finally had our first, we have to go talk to the teacher about our daughter's behavior kind of thing.
Oh, that's always fun.
Right. And we always knew that like she's always kind of towed the line of being a disruption in class, because she gets overwhelmed, but she has a lot of things that help her out with it. And she's been dancing at this school for like 6 years. So like, I figure it's like, I mean, she can sometimes be a pain in the butt, but she does the work. She shows up. She's always in a good mood and everything. Mm-hmm. So we're, my wife and I are just kind of like, oh God, what's going to happen? Are we going to get kicked out? Is this? And it turns out what happened is my daughter flipped off one of the teachers.
Oh no.
Now, my initial thought, because I know my daughter, is, does she know what that means? Because I feel like she does think, because she's not a mean or a vindictive person. She's not somebody to look at somebody in the eye and tell you, go fuck yourself. Like, she's just not that kind of, she likes to curse, and I let her curse. When we play video games, she curses all the time, but not in a mean directed towards somebody kind of thing. So, but yeah, it turns out that she just felt that was a gesture of frustration and not a directed at you, fuck you for, being there and looking at me funny.
Yeah. Doesn't fully understand the nuance quite yet.
Right. And so I asked my wife, I'm like, so where did that come from? Because like she always picks up like so much pop culture and stuff from books and TV and stuff like that. Yep. She picks up so much stuff, and I'm like, where are you getting it? It's like, oh, this Calvin and Hobbes was a lot of it for a while, and I had to explain to her that's not how 6-year-olds actually act. But
nor should they.
Yeah, it turns out it was my wife. My wife flipped off, did in the car, kind of waved a middle finger around after getting cut off, and so my daughter picked it up from then. I was like, all right, not my fault. This one does not
That's very funny.
It doesn't fall on my shoulder. So that's kind of nice.
Reminds me that my kid was probably, I don't know, like 2 or 3, was walking through the kitchen and dropped his bottle of milk. And right after he dropped it, he looks up, kind of like lets out an exasperated sigh. Again, he's like 2 or 3 years old, and then just says, "Oh, God damn it." Which I know exactly who he got that from.
Yeah.
And my wife had to like sit me down. It was like, he hears everything you say.
See,
and he does everything you do.
And see, this is the thing. My wife and I had to have that conversation too, because around the same age, my daughter was doing the same thing. Like I remember one time she like sat down hard and she's like hit her button under her breath. She's like, ah, fuck. And unfortunately, that's funny as hell.
It's very funny to hear like a toddler. Dude, there are like videos all over Instagram of it, and I die every time I look at one. Like my wife and I send them to each other, and they're so funny. But when it's your kid, it raises some red flags.
Right. Suddenly people are asking some questions about what you're doing. So
right.
We had to have that conversation of just like, well, we don't believe in bad words. That just doesn't make sense. The whole concept doesn't make sense to me. Like, this word is bad, but you can say this other word and it's good, even though they mean the same things. That makes no sense to me. But
somehow fuck is different than frick.
Right. And Battlestar Galactica famously changed every fuck to fark.
Yeah.
And use it completely interchangeably, but it's like, yeah, we're using it the exact same way, but we're not saying the actual word. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But you still have to have that conversation of like, look, it's okay if you say these words in the house. You cannot say them around anybody else, though.
Right.
And I feel like this is a good thing that I'm teaching her, because I had to learn kind of the same thing when I left my house. I left home and I joined the army, and I learned how to curse in the army, and then I came back home. And you just have to. It's like kind of like code switching. Like, I don't curse in front of my mom, but I do in front of my wife. And just I don't have like any conscious thought to it. It's just what happens.
Yeah, mine's the same way. Like, my whole family is like very diehard Mormon, and so is my wife's family, and it's just become inherent. Like, it's like second nature to hold my tongue when I'm around them. Like, I don't even think about it, and I just don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
But the second that I'm not around them, then I just go back to being, like a normal sailor.
Yeah. And that's, the kids are going to be kids. Like I said, we've told her, I don't care about the cursing. Just don't do it in front of somebody who's going to like judge me by it. Don't make dad look bad is really what is all I'm ever asking here.
Fair.
Don't make me look like a shitty parent. I try to be a good parent. I'm very loving and very supporting, but an errant goddammit in front of the wrong person throws all of that out the window. So you gotta be careful.
Absolutely. Especially in school. Like, if you're having your teacher having to stage some sort of intervention, that never feels good.
No. And that's, like I said, the having to go in and talk to the teacher about the behavior, that's just like such a knife in the gut of like, oh God, what have I done? How have I ruined everything?
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, I didn't. It was my wife this time. But all the other things, all the learning how to curse, that all comes from me. I know that much.
Sure. Yeah. And exactly with my kid too. My kid's pretty conscious about it though. Like, he even said the other day, like, I don't know if I want to be friends with so-and-so because he curses too much, which was like very funny coming from him being my child, but also like, hey, good on you, kid. You're making you're making good choices, and you're making me feel like I'm doing my job, I guess.
Yeah. So Greg, let's answer some questions. I put it out into the Discord. We got some questions set up, ready to go. We're here to give you some fatherly advice. So bring the dads on to give some dad advice. Because we're all like, I'm 42 now. Greg, how old are you?
I'm a few weeks away from 40.
Okay.
Like,
so
I'm kind of, and it's weird because 40 is so much more daunting than 30 ever was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, there's some like intimidation factor when it comes to being 40. Like, you are firmly entrenched in middle age.
Right. You are no longer, like, statistically, you're closer to death than birth at that point.
Right. Exactly. And like, there's no excuses anymore. Like, you can't do the like, oh, he's just a young kid thing at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do still have this problem because I have always been the youngest of the family. My parents were both, my father was 41 and my mother was 39 when I was born, and I had older brother and sister, and all my cousins were also older. So I've always had this like thing about I'm the youngest, and I've always been treated the youngest, and I hate being treated like the youngest. And still somehow at the age of 42, I get that. Like, somebody gave me one of those, just like, somebody your age. I'm like, I'm in my 40s. I hurt all the time. What are you talking about? Like, we just moisturize better now. Like, being 40 years old in 1990 looks so much different than being 40 years old now. And I can't tell you that it's, because we didn't drink and smoke, because I drank and smoked a lot.
Yeah, same. Same.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
You served. I worked in restaurants.
Yeah. I spent my first 3 years of working was in a restaurant. I don't know how this maintains, but also, it's one of the, like, every time I look at myself in the mirror, all right, looking pretty good. And then you see a picture of yourself at an incorrect angle or an angle you've never seen. It's like, okay, time to fling myself off of a cliff, I guess.
Of course, always.
Yeah. All right. So, Greg, are you a gardener? Do you do any gardening?
Some. My wife is much more of a gardener than I am. I will say I'm a solid weeder.
All right, good. Because the question here is, which weed is your mortal nemesis?
Oh man, you know what we get here? They're called goat heads. They're the bane of my existence, and they're an invasive species. And they have these little thorns all over them, which in the fall, when it gets a little cooler, they like detach and spread. And
no, these are like little caltrops. Like,
they're like little thorns, and they get like, if you ever step on one, they're so painful. They will pop your bike tires. I can't tell you the number of like tires I've had to switch out because of goat heads. And then like if they get in your dog's foot, it's over.
Mm-hmm.
And so those are the bane of my existence. And I've had to like not only do the Roundup thing with them, but I've had to burn them before.
Is this one of those things where you have, like dandelions, you have to dig down and get the root, otherwise it's just going to keep coming back?
They'll just come back. Yeah, you can't like. I wish you could just take a weed whacker to them, but like that's just a temporary solution, and it's like
just going to spread them around probably.
You cut off one head and 3 more appear.
Yeah, these are nasty looking. We have sticky like sticky burrs, but nothing that looks dangerous like this. I swear, everything like out in the desert just has to be angry.
Everything I was just about to say that everything in the desert will kill you.
Yeah, I know. I remember the first time I was up close to a Joshua tree, and you're just like, oh, look at this, these green trees out here in the middle of the desert, and then like you get close to one, you're like, these things will fucking kill me if I get too close.
Oh
like,
yeah,
just
the
razor blades.
Even the sagebrush out here have spikes.
Yeah. Luckily, I think the worst thing that I have to deal with is thistle. And
that's no good.
Yeah, the thistle gets everywhere. And now that it's springtime, I need to get out and deal with the yard. I hate dealing with the yard. I hate mowing. I don't ever want to mow my lawn ever.
See, and that's where you and I are very different. That's my happy place when I can just like throw on my headphones and some sunglasses and just like vibe out and mow the lawn. Or like, I don't have a very big lawn. I don't live in a very big house, but even that little bit of time, I love it.
So I have a very tiny yard as well, so I can do everything with an electric mower, and that's great.
Yes, same.
But the problem is that my front yard has a slope, and it has a real bitch of a slope too. And I got
same thing. This is my backyard. My backyard has a huge slope as well. It is a pain in the ass.
So you got to go up and down the thing, and there's like just so much. The other problem that we run into is that when we moved in, so we've got the slope, and then we've got like a flat area that's kind of, I don't know, probably about 15 by 15 feet. And then we've got the house. So we put like a bird area in there. We put a dwarf cherry tree in. And we put bird feeders all over the place. So I don't do anything else with this area. I don't plant anything else in there. I did one time put onions in there, but that was a waste of time because all the seed that doesn't get eaten, like all the sunflower seeds, just turns all into sunflowers. It all comes up. So that's really great, and it's this nice area that I don't really have to deal with. But then like all this stuff gets flung down the hill and then starts taking root in my hill, and now I'm like, god damn it. And I don't want to. It's the one thing that I hate because like I know at some point in time I got to deal with it, right? Like it's always eroding, like it's always going to be sliding into the sidewalk, and at some point in time that's going to have to be dealt with, and I don't want to be the one to do it.
Sure. Yeah, I can't say that I blame you.
All right, so I do get the dandelions out though too.
Yeah,
I have those climbing vines too. Those things are really I don't know what they're called.
Yeah, those are brutal.
Yeah, those just come out like those choked out a lot of my tomatoes last year because I wasn't paying attention, and they just kind of took over. All right, so what is the best gift to bring for someone else's toddler or elementary school kid's birthday party?
Oh man. You know what? If it's a toddler, dude, get those like magnet tiles.
Oh yeah.
The magnet, my kid is 7 and still plays with them. Like my kid recently got really into Hot Wheels. That's like his new thing, his new toy that he's into. So we bought him a bunch of Hot Wheels, and he still uses these magnet tiles to build all of these like little structures and jumps and things like that. Like we've gotten a good 5 years out of those magnet tiles, and every time his friends come over, like he's still playing with those.
Yeah,
and
we got a set.
Every time I go to like or like there's another kid's house or a birthday party or something, you bust those things out. Those kids are fully occupied, and that's a perfect way to burn a few hours.
My daughter has has a set of magnet tiles too. They're kind of pricey.
Yes, yeah. It's an investment, but I feel like they pay dividends.
Yeah, you can get like a small starter pack if you particularly like the kid. If not, I mean, anything that makes noise is really fun to.
Absolutely.
Give to a different kid that's not yours. Also, there's I don't know if you've ever heard of Kiva blocks.
No, I'll have to look them up.
Yeah, so KIVA. Our science center had a big like display of them for like a temporary display for a couple of months where you could go in and build everything. And they're just like these rectangle blocks. They're probably about maybe 4 inches long by an inch wide, maybe.
Sure.
And you just build stuff with them. Like it's kind of going back to that, not making complicated toys and just saying, here's a bunch of like bricks that are the same size. Have at it. See what you can do with
go
them.
Nuts. That's perfect.
Yeah. So we like those. I don't know. I think all the kids are into Bluey right now too.
Yeah. My kid's not so much into Bluey, but like that seems to be the big hit. The few times we have watched it, he's enjoyed it. But like my kid recently got really into Ninja Warrior. And like, so we take him every Thursday. He goes to like a Ninja Warrior class. There's a group of kids who were on the original show who then built like a big gym out in the warehouse district here in Salt Lake. And
that is cool.
He goes nuts and he watches and he loves to watch Ninja Warrior. And it's like, I love it because it's like super good exercise for him. And I think it's pretty harmless of a show.
Yeah, it's not, it's just doing feats of strength.
Yeah, exactly. And he's super, like he's obsessed with it. And I love it.
Yeah, we've been trying to get my daughter, pushing her towards robotics because she really likes battle bots. And
sure.
So we watched the big battle bots, but this past week I was at a local convention called QuadCon. I was working a booth there, and one of the local colleges had a robot fighting tournament going on.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, they were all small. So it was just like battle bots, but much smaller. And so they had two different battle boxes that were different sizes. So I guess you would have different weight classes that you would put into them, and I mean they went the whole 7 hours they were going, and all these tables set up and all the robotics teams from all over the country, the region really were out there. So that was really fun. Unfortunately, they were out of town, so not able to go check that out, but looking forward to seeing it next time.
Hell yeah.
I'm going to be in Las Vegas for work, and I know they do battle bots out there, so maybe I'll look into some tickets. All right. So do you have any tricks for keeping stuff put away, especially with kids in the house? I mean, I do not, because all my shit is a mess.
I don't have any tricks. I just am severely OCD and have to clean up and have to have things I have to have things organized or I go nuts. So I just have my like routine every day where like I pick things up. And like my kid also knows that he's got to keep if he wants to have certain privileges, he has to do certain things. Like he's got to make his bed. He's got to put his clothes away. He's got to put his toys away. And like that usually works pretty well. And I'm not going to say that we're batting 1,000, but I think I don't think there are any hacks. I think you just got to do it. If that's something that you have to do, then you just got to take the time to put things away and have some sort of...
You got to have a system.
Yeah, you've got to... Yeah. I don't even know, but I would say, I don't even know if I have a system outside of
my brain's not happy until this is done. Yeah, I
exactly. Like that is 100% something that I inherited from my mom. Like I like to describe my mom as the Mormon Martha Stewart, and that includes being like the cleanest woman of all time. Like her house is pristine. Her house looks like a temple constantly. And that was like ingrained in us very young. And I have to have things very neat and very orderly. I don't know, maybe there's something about me that's on the spectrum or something, but I just do it. And it usually like will only take 5 to 10 minutes and then I feel a lot better. So for me, it's worth putting in that little bit of work.
Yeah. If you're doing it every day, just as your mom and dad told you, if you do a little bit every day, then you don't have to do a lot of it
yes,
at
exactly.
other times. My problem that I run into is that I have a house that has 3 cats and a dog in it. And it's not very big. It's not a very big house, and it is a very big dog.
Yes. That'll make things tough.
Yeah, it's hard to keep it clean that way. And we do pay for like a cleaning service every month. It was one of those things that we kind of went back and forth with because it is a little expensive. But the thing is that we have somebody come in and do things that I will not do. Like I'm not going to regularly mop my floors. I'm not going to do. I wish I could. I wish that that would enter into my mind to do, but it's just not going to happen. So having somebody come makes us clean up everything else and declutter and put things back away on the shelves. Because with the homeschooling, things come out all the time. My wife and kid are always at home. If they're not out running errands or something. I work from home, so I'm always at home. So things just get taken out and left out. So we don't, I'm not going to tell you that my house is disgusting, but it is cluttered a lot. And that's just kind of.
And I mean, and part of that is just like being at the age that we are and raising children and having pets. Like, I think you also have to have just like a baseline of knowledge that things are just not going to be perfect. And you're going to have to just accept that.
Yeah. Like I go to my parents' house and their house is really, mom always keeps the house nice and clean. It's an older house and needs some updates, but it's always very clean. But also, they don't have children and they don't have animals anymore. It's just 2 people in their 80s living together, and that's it. And I imagine it is much easier to keep that place clean.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Here's one. Are you proud of the fact that I'm transgender? Of course we are.
Absolutely. Like everyone is entitled to live their life the way that they want to live their life. And if that makes you happier, then yeah, I love that for you.
Yeah. Being openly transgender is one of the probably bravest things that I think anybody can do. Like I will tell you, braver than the troops.
Especially right now.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
To say I have to live my truth and no matter what the rest of everybody else is doing or what the United States is trying to pull. Absolutely, 100%. I'm proud of anybody that is living how they want, living in a way that makes them feel comfortable.
Yeah, I can't say that I can relate. Like I'm a very white, very straight man, but you will always have solidarity, as far as me and as far as I'm concerned. And I agree. Like that has to be really frightening and incredibly brave to be out and proud as a transgender person in what is a pretty scary time for, I think, most people.
Yeah. I mean, let's be honest. It's never been a great time to be transgender in America.
No, never.
Certainly not any better today. So for all of you out there who are, living with this fear, you're absolutely, I'm very proud of you. Your dads are proud of you.
Amen.
All right. Here's one for you. How do I explain Jar Jar Binks to children?
The world is a racist place.
Okay.
I don't know what else to say.
I gotta ask you something, Greg.
Yeah. Because
you now have probably watched a lot of kids' movies.
Yes. So many during the pandemic.
Right. And you got a kid who's still going to be wanting to watch kid movies. And I feel myself, because my daughter is finally like, I want to go to movie theaters. So, and I said, great. I love to go to movie theaters. I'll go to movie theaters with you. And the first one that she wanted me to take her to was Madam Web. And then we went to Sonic 3, and then we went to Dogman, and then we went to Minecraft.
Mm-hmm. I've watched all of the ones except for Madam Web, and we're going to go see Minecraft this weekend. But yeah, we're kind of in that same stage. But at the same time, I can still like throw on a Disney movie and he's fully entranced.
Right. But I mean, for me, having to sit and like, because I watched the Minecraft movie and I didn't go in with any expectations and I thought it was a perfectly fine movie. And a lot of people on the internet are angry about it. And I'm not 100% sure why. I think we don't like Jack Black at the moment. But either way, like I will tell you, I went on opening night and children were erupting in applause. Like I was probably one of the oldest people in there by 20 years because I had a 9-year-old with me. All the other, a bunch of 13 and 14-year-old boys hooting and hollering and having a good time. So I think they had I don't know. I have a lot more grace for movies like this because like I'll watch something and it's like, that kind of sucked, but like everybody else enjoyed it. So I don't know. Maybe it's just not for me. That's fine.
And you know what? I think that's the key. Just go into something like that and realize like, hey man, this isn't for me. but we do things for people we love. And you know what? If my kid's going to get a kick out of it and he's going to love it, then like overall it's worth it. And at the most, it's a couple hours of your time. Yeah. And if you can't like dedicate a couple of hours of time to the people you love, then like you might want to reassess how selfish you are.
Right. If you don't go and watch Madam Web with your daughter, you are just being selfish.
And you know, like you have to think like these are core memories for a lot of things. Like I remember going and seeing movies with my family and my friends, and like these are movies and these are memories I've had now for like 30, 35 years. And like you're doing the same thing with them now. It's, you know, so try to have that in your head and just realize that not everything is always going to be about you, and that's just fine.
And yeah, there's always a little something. You know, Madam Web had Sydney Sweeney, so you know you got a little something for the dads there.
Great. Perfect.
There's a chase scene in Minecraft. I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's a chase scene with a B-52 song that I have not heard used in a movie in a long time. So I was very excited about that. There's a little, you know, sometimes there's a little something for the dads in there.
Sure, absolutely. I think that's one of the reasons why like families like Bluey so much is that there tends to be like some adult centric humor, like at least something that like parents can enjoy.
Yeah, and I think that that's also part of what makes a lot of current movies, you know, the kids' movies a lot more popular. Like I will always remember, I've watched the movie Cars probably about 25 times because my daughter had a time with it. I'm sure my wife has watched it even more. But one of my favorite jokes is when Lightning McQueen says, you know, Doc has 3 piston cups, and Mater's immediate response is, he did what in his cup? And like, you know,
that's great. That's a good dad joke.
Yeah, that's for me. That's a joke for me, not for you, little kid. We're not going to talk about pissing in a cup, but we'll talk about it for me. It's fine. So yeah, I find that the caliber of kids movies is better today. Like even like Dogman. I really enjoyed Dogman.
Dogman was fun.
Yeah.
Dogman. My kid has literally read every Dogman book, and I see it as like, if this is what gets my kid to read books and gets excited about reading, then I'm all for it, man. And like, yeah, I can take a couple hours and take him to a movie and like sit around and eat some popcorn and hang out. Sure.
Yeah. And again, Dogman, good movie. It's about trauma bonding.
Yeah.
It's really, and you know what? That's the thing. Kids today need movies that are fucked up, and Dogman is pretty fucked up because it is a police officer and his dog get into a car accident, and so they graft the dog head to the police body, and then the Dogman's girlfriend just like immediately leaves him and takes the house and kicks him out onto the street. And so, you know, you need that thing. So like when the kids hit about 2021, they go like, that's a pretty fucked up movie that I watched. Why would they do that? Why are you doing this to me, Dad Pilkey? There's another kids author that your kid might like called Max Brailer, who does the Last Kids on Earth. But then there's a spin-off of that's Last Comics on Earth. And I've been trying to get Max on the podcast because he also wrote an insane horror movie called VFW that I absolutely love.
Oh man.
Vampires, I think. Zombies or vampires. One or the other attacking your local VFW full of old alcoholic soldiers. So
that's fun.
Yeah, it's fantastic. All right, here's one. I don't know if this counts, but do you have plans for your funeral, and do you know what you want? You think about death a lot?
You know,
it's time to get real.
Yeah. You know, I'm going to be pretty open and honest about this question because this is something that I have been battling right now. My dad is 92 and is not in the greatest of health, as most 92-year-olds are. And my stepdad last year was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and is now stage 4. And I am watching them slowly deteriorate. And I lost my brother about 11 years ago. He died of a brain condition. And so when you've witnessed that and you've gone through something like that, it's always in the back of your mind. And so, yeah, I do think of death sometimes. I think it's a fairly normal thing to do. As far as plans, I haven't really gotten there yet. I don't plan on dying anytime soon. I'm a pretty healthy, pretty active guy. Last time I went to the doctor, he said I was in great health. Like, I know anything can happen, but man, as far as I'm concerned, just like I'm dead. Just like put me in a bag and like, I don't know, throw me in a hole. Like,
yeah, that's what your 40s are.
I don't know. I'm not someone for like tradition and decorum most of the time. I don't care. Just like as long as my wife and my kid are taken care of, that's ultimately what matters. Like, just make sure they get my life insurance policy.
There's a period of time that if I had died, my wife would have gotten $1 million, just split between my military SGLI and then my regular. Because
that's how you know she loves you. She didn't off you for that. That's a ride or die right there.
Exactly. My parents though, my parents are in their 80s and her parents are in their 70s, and I know my parents have a death book, which is like a birth book, but for all of the things that they want to happen after they pass. They're both donating their bodies to science, which I thought was a little strange because my mom is very Catholic. I figured she'd want a Catholic, but I guess I don't know. I guess burial isn't all that important to the Catholics. Like you got to have a Catholic mass, but other than that, you can do whatever with the body.
Yeah.
I don't know how my own people do these things.
I don't know if any doctors would want my body. I'm kind of held together with, duct tape and bobby pins at this point, but have at it, man.
You should read, Mary Roach wrote a book about cadavers. I can't remember what the name of it is, but like she writes these really great in-depth books about, a specific subject. So she wanted to, like, when you donate your body to science, she wanted to figure out what happens to those bodies. And talks about it. Yeah. So like sometimes, talking about going to a facility where there's nothing but severed heads, because that's where they're practicing facial reconstructive surgery. And so they need faces to practice this on, or body farms where they put a body out on, just leave it out to the elements, and people come in, they say, okay, this body's been decomposing for 48 hours because I can see X, Y, and Z is happening to the body. So there's some interesting things. Like, it's not like they're going to, make you, we need his body, so we're going to turn into a super soldier. Like, no, they're going to strap to the front of a rocket and run it into a wall or something, which is how I'm hoping.
Yeah. Again, I'm dead.
Yeah. I don't, I'm not into all of that either. I had the thing is that I could get buried in a military cemetery, but I don't know. Those places are always like, I'm just not that into the army, and I can't imagine.
Yeah, totally fair.
Right. Like every time you go, everything, all the headstones look, they're all in the same shape. They all look the same. They're all, correct online, forward, backward, diagonal, and all this stuff. Is like, I do not want to be standing at attention through my fucking afterlife, man. Just chuck me into the river and let Baton Rouge deal with me,
Yeah.
Okay, I have mistakenly gotten my 3-year-old addicted to Mario Kart, and my mother-in-law has allowed him to get a general screen addiction. He's at an age where he's started to pretend to play. Have you run into this situation, and how do you get your kids off the easy dopamine fix given by low-effort content? So Greg, what's your screen time policy at home?
Screen time is earned, and it's earned in like 15-minute increments. We're not... and we try really hard to keep our kid active and doing other things. Like, of course, sometimes like the screen is inevitable. We're on a road trip, it's a rainy day, he's sick, whatever. But I think you kind of just have to do your due diligence. And like, I'm not passing judgment. My kid and I play Mario Kart a ton, but I think you have to be pretty proactive about how much screen time they're getting. And like, I think especially when they're young, less is more. And that's why we do the 15 minutes thing, but it's like, okay, 15 minutes, but not until your homework's done, not until your chores are done, whatever it is. Like, he understands that this is not something that he can just go downstairs and do at his leisure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we have, we give our daughter like a general 1 hour in the afternoon, as long as dance practice is done and schoolwork is done and any chores are done. And sometimes that hour bleeds over a little bit, but it's like, that's her hour to do what she wants. So if she wants to, she's got games that she plays. She has friends that she talks to, like she's got a kid's messenger app and everything. So she's got those things, but we also like, there is that hour that she gets to herself, that she gets to do whatever she wants. But, later on in the day, I'll get off work and we'll say, hey, let's go play. We're playing Tiny Tina's Wonderland right now. So we'll go to go play video games in the basement. But we are hitting a hard point of like no screens after 7 o'clock.
I love that.
Yeah, anything else will kind of fuck her up. And when your kids like also like ADHD, the more screens they have, the worse it is. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Imagine your ADHD ass staring and doom scrolling all the time. You know, it's not great for your brain. So
yeah.
And kids don't have as much regulatory ability as an adult, you know, supposedly has.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, like every other person my age, I have a horrible screen addiction. And there are a lot of times where I have to either just turn my phone off or like hand my phone to my wife and just be like, listen, if I'm going to sleep tonight, I need this like out of my life or it's going to fuck up everything.
Yeah, I tell you, getting off of Twitter broke me of a lot of screen.
Yeah.
It broke me a lot of useless screen staring. You know, like I have a tablet that I read books on. So that's technically screen time, but I'm not doing anything else. I have a couple of games that I play and I'll get on Blue Sky for 5 minutes or so, kind of scroll through, but like it's always the same shit. And I don't need to constantly allow the horrors of the world to be washing over me. So I spend 10 minutes on Blue Sky and then I turn that off and I say, okay, what else can I do? What else is there for me to do? And it is helpful it's also helpful that my phone has, I'm doing Duolingo. I'm learning Spanish on Duolingo, which, it's not, am I going to be fluent in it? Probably not, but like, it's at least a activity that's on my phone that kind of gives me that dopamine hit, but is also useful. You know, it's not,
absolutely.
It's not staring at social media.
Or doom scrolling and seeing like the latest bomb video.
Yeah. So that's how I also try to not be looking at my phone. You know, again, not doing that useless scrolling on the phone anytime after like 9 o'clock. Like we get into bed, I'll check my phone real quick and then I'll read a book.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that a lot. That's smart. I need to be much better at that than I am.
Yeah. So look, your kid's getting into screens, but at 3 years old, like they don't really understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You
and
just
that's on you, man. Like you're the parent in that situation. You've got to regulate. And it might be a difficult few weeks, but your kid's 3. Like he'll be able to reset fairly quickly.
Yeah, or find something else. Like there's a million educational things out there that are great for kids. My daughter was really into Octonauts when she was a kid. When she was much younger. Like there are, I understand not wanting to do this low effort stuff. And I'm going to tell you again, as we're both saying, more screen time is not the best idea. But if you want to have here's screen time and it's actually useful in some way, there are those options out there. And that's what I would suggest.
We did that when my boy was young, a lot of like educational style games, especially during the pandemic when like my wife and we were both working from home, but we were still working full 40-hour weeks. And sometimes we had to just hand him the tablet and be like, okay, you're kind of on your own right now. Entertain yourself. Play quiet, but like, I guess if there is a consolation to doing that, at least it was like educational games and he wasn't just like going willy-nilly on whatever thing my wife had downloaded for him.
Yeah, the big thing is don't let them get into Roblox and don't let them get into YouTube, like, because either one of those things is going to drag them to a bad place. I don't mind, like there are parts of YouTube that my daughter likes that are fine. Mm-hmm. She really likes ambient noise channels. Yeah. She likes to do these things called brain breaks, which are like, little exercise things.
Yeah, my boy does brain breaks and he likes Crunch Labs, the Mark Rober guy, which you get the boxes? Which I think is great.
Do you get the boxes? Yeah.
We do get the boxes. He's really into those. And it's like, man, if this kid wants to be into science, he keeps telling me like at 7 years old, he wants to be an engineer, which like, hey, great. Yeah. Go into STEM. It's going to be the one thing that remains at our universities by the time you get there.
Yeah. I highly recommend the Mark Rober box. It's a little pricey, but it is massively
fun,
worth
though.
It. Yeah. And Mark Rober is just a lot of fun too. Like
he seems like a genuinely good dude.
Yeah. He's an all right guy. And we grew up, well, not grew up, but like I know Mythbusters was much bigger when we were younger and Mythbusters was fine. I think Mark Rober is a little bit more, he's not doing science, right? He's doing engineer stuff. So he's not trying he's trying to engineer something, but I don't know. I'm just trying to get to, I like Mark Rober better than I really like Mythbusters.
Yeah.
He's just doing so many cool different things. Just be like, let's see if I can do this. And I'm going to videotape and I'm going to train squirrels to do tricks in my backyard. And he does it. Like that's a level of dedication that I wish I had.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, Greg. So what is your current low effort but delicious dinner?
Ooh, we do Taco Tuesday, man. Every Tuesday. I'm making it tonight.
So just is it kind of a build your own situation?
Yeah. We'll do either taco salads, but I'll also, I'll heat up some tortillas or make some tortillas or whatever it is that we're doing. I will usually chop up and serve it with some black beans, serve it with some like fajita veggies, which I can it takes 10 minutes in the air fryer. That's like my really easy go-to one. And then I do a lot of meal prepping. I guess I'm a fitness guy, so I try to be pretty conscious about what I eat. So another one we do is just I'll make a big batch of sweet potatoes at the beginning of the week, and I'll air fry a bunch of broccoli or whatever vegetable I have on hand. And then I will throw a bunch of meat, whether it's chicken or pork loin or something, on the Traeger, and then I'll just have it. And it takes, a few minutes for me to warm everything up. And then my wife makes a really good pasta salad, and we'll get the little Mediterranean chicken skewers from Costco.
Ooh, yeah,
and that's another really easy, low effort. You just chop up some veggies, get some cucumbers, some broccoli, some onions and peppers, boil some pasta, and heat up those chicken skewers. And it takes whole thing takes 15 minutes, and you've got dinner, and it's healthy and it's delicious.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of snack dinner. We just keep a variety of little finger foods around, and I have many little serving trays. My wife and I are addicted to going to the secondhand store, and I love buying new little ways to display olives and cheese and crackers and grapes and stuff like that. So that's how I do a lot of my my easy dinners. But also for my daughter, just a quesadilla. Costco has they have the big pack of uncooked tortilla shells, and those things are fucking fantastic.
Great. We do. I make my kid quesadilla pizzas quite a bit.
Oh, nice.
Those are super, super simple, super easy. Also, this doesn't happen a ton, but it's always super easy. We'll do breakfast for dinner. So I'll do pancakes and waffles and some eggs or something. And that's always a hit. The kid likes it.
We have a Mickey waffle maker at home. So every once in a while.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. Every once in a while I break that out and I make some Mickey waffles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of just putting protein over rice.
Yes. Big fan of the stir fry, dude.
Yeah. My Instant Pot mostly gets used to make rice. 9 times out of 10, I'm just making a cup of rice inside of it. And I'm a big fan of the frozen meals meant so many different things when we were younger. And I'm not buying the tray that you microwave and you eat sadly on a tray in front of the TV. But we're at, you can buy you can buy orange chicken frozen, and it's all you have to do is
and throw it in the air fryer, and it takes 20 minutes and you've got dinner.
Yeah. And you just put that over some rice and you're good to go. Costco also has tofu, and the tofu is really cheap. You can get 4 pounds of extra firm tofu for $6, I think. Yeah, it's nuts. And I've been learning how to cook tofu because it's just a really cheap and easy protein that you can throw on top of anything.
Yeah, it's good. And it the thing that's nice about tofu is that if you marinate it or put it just takes on the flavor of whatever you cook it with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it makes it super malleable.
Yeah. I like to marinate and fry it. A little bit of oil.
See, you know what you're doing. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. The tofu is one of the things I like to get because even if I fuck it up, it's fine because it's tofu. It doesn't cost very much. Also a big fan of the rotisserie chicken at Costco. Just
go to, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is when I'm feeling extra lazy, rotisserie chicken, get some cheese, some barbecue sauce, and some King's Hawaiian rolls.
Oh, yeah.
And just do poor man's barbecue. And it's the easiest thing in the world.
I'll get the rotisserie chicken, and I'll do chicken salad with dill and lemon and a little bit of garlic at home. And then I also like to get the baguettes, and then slicing thin little slices of baguettes for your little finger foods there.
Mm-hmm.
I do enjoy my tiny little. I enjoy anything where I'm making a tiny sandwich. That's just my favorite snack is a tiny sandwich that I have to construct from a
little finger food,
right? Perfect. From an array of options, and I can just make tiny sandwiches all day.
I love it.
All right, let's do one more. Let's pull one from over here. All right. Oh, here's one for you. Hey, Dad, how do I know when it's worth quitting a job or a career? since you are currently starting something new, I don't know how much you want to talk about it, but what was it that got you to move on, other than not getting paid on time?
You know what? I've gone through quite a number of jobs in my life. I work in the creative industry, and it's pretty transient by nature, and we tend to be mercenaries in that we just we're always the first department that gets cut when there isn't a budget, and we're always the first to get hired when there is. So naturally, we kind of go from place to place. For me, it sounds cliche, but you kind of, it's the accept things you can't change and change things you can't accept. And if there are a laundry list of things that you can't accept, then I think it's time to move on. Mm-hmm. I will say this might be a little crude, but I think like your audience will appreciate this. And I have like a little bit of analogy and something that I always keep at the back of my mind when I work. I'm very much like a work to live kind of guy. That's not to say that I don't I'm fine working long hours and hitting deadlines, and like that's part of the job. But at the end of the day, like sometimes you got to just clock in at the dick sucking factory, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got to spend a few hours sucking some dicks, and you get paid, and then you go home. And like my careers, it's something I'm proud of, but like there are other things I'm much more invested in, like being a dad and being a friend and being a husband and
being
my
a podcaster,
job, and my job is what allows me to really pursue the things that I'm most passionate about. So I always keep that in the back of my head. But when it comes to the job itself, like you really have to do some reflecting and, kind of do the seesaw thing of like put the negatives and the positives of your job on that seesaw. And if the negatives far outweigh the positives, then start looking. Like
time to hit the road. Yeah.
I don't think that you can really put a premium on your happiness. And you spend a third of your, most of your adult life at work, at least, 8 hours or so a day. And that doesn't account for, lunch and commutes and overtime and whatever else. So you're spending a lot of time there, and you have to really you have to ask yourself, like, is this sacrifice, is all of this time actually worth it? And but also keep in mind that it is a job, and sometimes jobs are just going to suck, and there is no such thing as a perfect job.
No.
So balance that is my advice.
Yeah, you got to find something that you don't mind doing. I have a great job that I don't hate, and everybody that I work with respects me and listens to me, and I listen to them, and I know that I couldn't ask for anything better, and I work IT for a multinational tax company. I understand that I am a cog in a massive machine, and that's fine. Just like being in the army, it was never about I'm out here fighting for freedom or fighting, I'm going to take down America's enemies. When it comes down to it, you're fighting for the people on your left and your right. And that's kind of the position I take at work, because I work very closely with our service desk, and I want to make sure that they have everything they need to do the things that they need to do, whether that be training, whether that be knowledge articles, whether anything like that. And that's what I strive for at work. Like, I don't care about, sure, I care that my company continues to exist and give me money. Like, absolutely. I don't think it's going anywhere.
100%.
Right. But that's the extent of my care up there. My real care is everybody who I interact with on a day-to-day basis. Are they good? Are they covered? Do they have everything they need? And if they don't have it, what can I do to get it to them? And that's how I know that I can stay where I'm at. My wife, on the other hand, the last time she worked in an office was probably about 10 years ago, and she never wants to go back to an office. And she made really good money as a flooring estimator. And now she does not do that. She is a travel agent. She makes a fraction of the amount of money that she used to make, and she's never been happier. So, you just because the thing makes a lot of money doesn't mean that it's worth your time. And if it's, one of the things that we talk about is that had she stayed at that job, we would not have stayed together. Like, she was not in a good place while she was working there. And she's more than happy to let me have the cog corporate job, and I'm more than happy to have one because I feel comfortable with one. Like, this is my happy place is this stability. Like, the idea of being a creative and bouncing around just like fills me with so much dread. Like, I couldn't do it. It's hard,
man. When I was, I lost my job in November, and before I got this new job, like when I was interviewing, that's exactly what I was telling people. I was like, I've bounced around a lot, and that's not, I know it does, it doesn't look good on a resume, and B, it's not ideal. And I'm looking for somewhere that I can like put my roots down. I'm a 40-year-old man, and I've got bills and a wife and a kid. And like, I'm with you like that. I am looking for that stability at this point. And that if that means like as a creative that like my work, I may not ever get a Cannes Lion or whatever other like ridiculous creative award there is out there. I don't care. What's important to me is like keeping a roof over my head and having like being able to go see a doctor when I need to see a doctor, things like that.
And doing the job well,
absolutely.
When you do like your job, because I do like my job and I do my job well.
Yes, I do agree with that.
Yeah, I put in the effort, but like if you don't even want to do the job there, like you gotta start. You gotta
find something else, man. And maybe like I think that's one of the reasons why I've stayed in the creative field as long as I have is because I genuinely enjoy doing the work and it's fun and it's very satisfying to me, like coming up with an idea that then turns into like an actual like tangible asset, like a tangible thing, and being able to see the fruits of your labor to me is incredibly satisfying. And I love the teamwork part of it. And I love that just like creating something out of nothing is very satisfying to me. But ultimately, like you have to balance that with also like you got bills to pay, man. And like that's just the reality of being an American.
That it is. And speaking of bills to pay, if you like this and want to hear more, you can catch us on Patreon, $5 a month. Greg, tell them about your Patreon too. Tell them about your podcast.
Sure. Yeah. I am 1/3 of Brighan Young Money. We are a culture and politics and current events podcast and have a lot of focus locally. We all live in Salt Lake City, so we cover SLC, we cover Utah as a whole, and we've kind of carved a little bit of a niche of explaining Utah and the LDS Church to outsiders because Utah and the LDS Church is exceptionally weird and it's nuanced. And if you haven't experienced it, then it's tends to be pretty one of a kind. And
it is.
So
Mormons
we try
wild,
to unclutter the mess of our great state and the religion that we all grew up in, along with whatever the topic du jour is of the week. And we'll cover sports, we'll cover politics, we'll cover current events, kind of whatever it is that we just kind of run the gamut. And it's always a bit of a free-flowing conversation, and we do a lot of riffing and joking, and it's a good time. And you can find us at patreon.com/Brighan Young Money.
Yeah, you guys should be listening. It's great stuff. Greg, I appreciate you coming on and answering some questions with me. Always good to have some fresh dad on the microphone. Things get stale with me and Neil telling the same stories back and forth.
Sure.
You got to get new dad stories in. You got to rotate somebody fresh in every once in a while.
Yeah. Well, it's always an honor and a privilege, and I'm happy to come back whenever.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.